Welcome to the Lippert Technical Institute. I'm Charlie, and I'll be your technical trainer. Today, we'll be covering the FlowMax Bullet pull-down faucet and its installation, operation, maintenance, and troubleshooting. So here it is out of the box, and I wanted to identify a few parts for you. Take a look at these two metal lines. One is for cold water and one is for hot water. Those are metal braided lines. This is a cloth braided line, and this line allows the faucet to actuate in and out. And next we have a metal collar here with 2 screws, a metal washer, and a rubber washer in there. And finally, we have this weight that goes on the cloth braided line that gives that weight to pull that faucet. For this installation, you'll need a wireless drill, a flashlight, a Phillips screwdriver, adjustable wrenches, tape measure, a pencil to draw lines with. Now, you'll also need a 1.5-inch hole saw, a bucket, and safety glasses. Now let's head out to the RV and get started. Depending upon the uniqueness of your sink and faucet combination will dictate where you actually drill your hole. So in our instance, we have a center drain sink here. So we're going to measure over and make a mark right in the center, and that for our 14-inch is obviously 7 inches here. And now the uniqueness of our faucet will dictate that we measure back as we're trying to get that exact flow from the spout of the faucet that goes right down the drain. I'll make that 1.5-inch measurement, and that will be our center mark for our hole. Now that we have that marked out, we're going to take this drawer out and get our safety glasses on. Now what you're going to need is a 1.5-inch hole saw to cut your hole. If you're replacing a faucet instead of adding a brand new one, first you're going to need to shut off the water supply to the faucet. Then what you're going to do is you're going to turn on the faucet and then turn it back off. That's going to relieve the pressure in the lines. Then you're going to bring in a bucket or a suitable container depending upon the space you're actually installing the faucet, so you can catch the water that drains out when you open them up. Then you're going to disconnect the mounting hardware from the faucet and remove it from either the sink or the countertop, depending upon which install you have. Once that faucet is removed, make sure that the area that you're going to put the new faucet in is dry and free of debris. The first step in installing your faucet, you're going to want to take this metal collar and metal washer off the faucet itself. So you spin those off of there and you pull them off the whole faucet itself. You're going to set that aside. You're going to do the same thing with your metal washer. Once you have those off, now you're going to thread this through the pre-drilled hole that we drilled in your countertop. You're going to want a nice tight seal from the rubber washer to the countertop. Now I wanted to bring to your attention this on-off handle here can be installed on the right-hand side or the left-hand side, depending upon your preference. However, if it's installed in the middle, you're going to be at risk for scalding yourself. Now that the faucet's ready to be installed on the countertop, we're going to use this metal washer and the metal collar, and slide these over the hoses, and we'll slide them over the braided lines too. Now we're going to spin that metal collar up and secure the faucet to the countertop. Now, you're going to want to make sure that the faucet itself is exactly where you want it to be, because once this is tightened up against the countertop, that's where the faucet will be permanently. So once you get the collar all the way tight, then you're going to want to use a Phillips screwdriver and tighten those Phillips screws to the metal washer. Now that we have the faucet secured to the countertop, we want to hook up the water supply lines from the RV to the hot and cold lines of the faucet itself. So now these are hand adjustable lines, but you might need an adjustable wrench for this. Now let's go ahead and put the weight on the braided line. This will give your faucet head the ability to retract on its own. So I'll do that, and you're going to want to make sure that the braided line is free and clear from your other lines. Now you can test it by pulling down the faucet head and retracting back. Now that the water lines are secure, go ahead and turn the water on and check for leaks. Now let's clean everything up, put our drawer back in, and head back to the classroom, and we'll talk about maintenance and troubleshooting. Now let's talk about troubleshooting. Now, vibrations can cause an awful lot of problems with an RV and its plumbing while it's driving up and down the road. So the first thing that you're going to do if you have any of these issues, you're going to go ahead and tighten all that hardware in your plumbing lines. However, if you still have these problems, let's go through these one at a time. First one, irregular flow. You could have blockage at the screen. Now, what you're going to do, the aerator, when the faucet is on, make sure you reinstall the aerator. It could be crooked in there. Now, the aerator has an irregular or reduced water flow. What you're going to do there is you're going to remove the aerator and clean the debris. Now, for maintaining your faucet, you're going to want to make sure that you clean the faucet periodically with a soft cloth. Now, what you don't want to do is use harsh chemicals, steel wool, or abrasive cleaners. This concludes the Better Bath Faucet Aftermarket installation video.